obligatory anime master reference because Tohloo is on stream. And we are off. So this is the plains. Easy first level.
Yeah, if you know anything about Shovel Knight, main differences between Specter Knight and Shovel Knight is Specter Knight jumps a little bit lower, but he's compensated by being able to dash attack into enemies while he's in the air. And he can also climb up walls. The main thing they're going to be doing here is collecting all the money they can and getting red skulls, which they're going to be using to pick up what's called curios, which is their sub-weapons they're going to be using.
Yeah, both of these runners are on the Bounding Soul route, which means that they'll be getting a weapon called the Bounding Soul, also known as basketball or meatball. So if we say basketball or meatball, we actually mean Bounding Soul. So they'll be getting that curio mainly for bosses, and then they'll also be getting the Judgment Rush that allows a bunch of rooms to be skipped. Essentially, it's a homing attack that locks on enemies and teleports Spectre to them and deals extra damage. So you can basically use it to skip rooms, which is really nice when you're trying to go fast.
Yeah, and they're both pretty good, so they're going to be skipping that health upgrade. And it's pretty dangerous, but I think they both know what they're doing.
Yeah, these two runners are going to be going for basically the optimal route. No extra health or more darkness than needed, I assume. So now here we're coming up on the Black Knight fight on MooMoo's screen, Tohloo not far behind. This fight's really easy. Both the runners are just going to be trying to lock Black Knight in the corner behind that second waterfall from the right. They're just going to bounce him back between the walls.
Yeah, it's a super simple stun lock. I've seen people do it who don't even speedrun. But if you mess it up, you lose a whole lot of time.
Yeah, one of my friends played this game for the first time. He's like, "Is this boss supposed to be stupid?" Because he got this stun lock first time playing the game.
Little does he know. Yeah, now that they're wrapped up in the plains, they're in the tower, which is the hub world for this campaign. They get to pick any stage they want to go to, which is really nice because you get to like have all sorts of freedom in the route you take. So, why don't you tell us where they're going to be going?
So right now they're about to head to the flying machine, and this stage across all Spectre routes is always done first because it has quite a bit of money, and you unlock the Judgment Rush afterwards. So this stage is normally a late game stage in the other two campaigns, and it's even though you can pick your level order in Spectre, they encourage it as a late game stage by its high money reward at the end because it's pretty challenging. Both runners are probably going to be breaking most, if not all, of the checkpoints here. And it can be pretty dangerous. It's the only stage that they'll be doing without Rail Mail, Judgment Rush, or any of those extra weapons or upgrades.
Yeah, and as an added bonus, there's a global cycle going on with some fans at the end of the stage, and they're trying really hard to beat that win cycle.
So this is the first mini-boss, the Dinghy Dropper. Both runners are just going to try and hit it as many times as they can at first, and then bounce the bombs to it. So Tohloo getting a pretty perfect kill. Moomoo got a pretty good kill too.
Moomoo chose not to break that checkpoint, and Tohloo did. So if Tohloo happens to die, then he's going to have to redo both this upcoming auto-scroller and the mini-boss. So he's got to be pretty careful.
He probably won't die though. I mean, they've both played this stage so many times. They have safety strats all over for races, but knowing Tohloo, he won't go for safety either. So anything could happen. Never mind.
Please.
So this first auto-scroller is relatively easy. As you can see, both runners kind of wasting time. Just
Yeah, there's also a lot of money to be had, so they're just, like, doing their thing. Oh, yeah. That's twerking that Moo was talking about.
So both runners got the wind fan cycle there. If they had gone a little slower or a little too fast, then they would have had to wait on that fan cycle, which wastes a bit of time. So they both got it, so good job.
Yeah. They're not quite in the clear yet, though, because there's one more fan cycle coming up. And also Triple Jaw was totally having a little bit of trouble there.
This room, Triple Jaw, is pretty much the scariest room in the game, especially early game.
Perfect room. Yo, that way that Tohloo got through that room was amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
So this is Propeller Knight. He does a lot of damage, but he's actually super easy. As long as you hit him while he's lunging at you, it's not too big of a deal. Oh no! That's not where you want Propeller Knight to land. Wow. Wow, they both got him to land on the left. That's strange and not normal.
If you go on the left side of the sun, the big sun in the background, Propeller Knight will spawn in the right side of the stage, which gives a far more easy and consistent kill based on his manipulating his AI. But they both dealt with him pretty well, despite not getting the optimal fight. Still a lot faster than a lot of people who do get the optimal fight.
Yeah.
So now they're buying Judgment Rush, and as you can see, both runners can now teleport to enemies and deal a large amount of damage.
Yeah, they're also going to be picking up Rail Mail, which lets them skate, which goes a lot faster, and they can also skate over spikes, which is going to let them skip a lot of the puzzles in the game.
So now they're headed to Explodatorium. This stage is done second on the Bounding Soul route because it unlocks the Bounding Soul. So this stage is pretty challenging, especially only on 2 Darkness and with no extra weapons. There's also global cycles to worry about.
Yeah, like the Flying Machine, they're going to be trying to beat cycles, and it's a little bit tighter in this stage than it was in Flying Machine. Especially because, like, if you miss the cycle, then there are enemies who go crazy. It's not a good time.
Okay, Moo breaking a checkpoint there. Let's see if Tohloo breaks the same one. Yep.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be breaking these checkpoints here.
For those who don't know, breaking checkpoints gives it gives extra money, which is very important for the route so that the runners have the upgrades that they need to go the fastest. But it also makes it so that if the runners would die, that checkpoint is deactivated, so they would go all the way back to the first checkpoint that they got, or the last one that they didn't break.
Yeah, this is the Alchemeister. He's the mini boss of the stage. There's a water current going on that like pushes you. Oh, good fight. And it's kind of awkward to fight him actually, because you have to like slash him while going to the right and then hold left, and it's kind of an interesting thing going on.
Tohloo's having a pretty scary looking fight, only on 1 health, but he got the kill. The reason that kill is possible is basically because of a property of Shovel Knight as a game, is that basically when you're damaging an enemy, their hitbox doesn't come out. So you can just kind of slash through enemies with Spectre since his DPS is so high, just grounded slashing. And so you can just be like in enemies and slash them a bunch, which we're probably going to see a bit of here in this Plague Knight fight.
Yeah, this is Plague Knight. He's easily the most RNG heavy boss in the game. He's going to be jumping around doing his bomb thing, and he turns into a bunch of clones, and it's random which clone he is.
He's also the best character in the game.
Yeah, I agree. Moo got a really good fight.
And Moo was actually inside of one of Plague's vats, doing the slashing thing
Oh
that I was
God.
talking about earlier.
Amazing fight from both runners.
So now we're in the first memory stage where Spectre is his past self, Donovan, before he died. Spoilers. But you know they're black and white. They're short little levels. They take place in the past, but all the money goes into the present. So all the money they collect here will affect the rest of the game, but they don't have any of their normal in-game upgrades.
Yeah, and he's got his buddy Lou on there, who's basically just a running lantern. We'll be seeing a bit more of him later in the game.
Yeah, we'll be waiting for him to run really fast, and then we'll be making him have not a fun time.
Dude, spoilers.
So both runners done with the first memory now, and they'll be on to Mole Knight stage.
Picking up the Bounding Soul now, as you can see, it goes at a 45-degree angle. It's well, as it's a projectile, and they're not upgrading it just yet because they don't quite have the money. So they're going to be running to Lost City, which doesn't really need the upgraded one. And this is everybody's favorite stage who runs this game.
The stage on the Bounding Soul route is extremely challenging because of the limited darkness. A lot of quote big boy strats, as Moo likes to call them, have to be used when this amount of darkness is so low. Because using Judgment Rush makes a lot of the scarier rooms a lot easier, but you don't really have the darkness to spare when you only have 2. So it's it can be pretty scary. We're coming up on the first beetle skip here on MooMoo's screen. And this is one of the places where having Judgment Rush, extra Judgment Rushes would come in really handy. But he didn't need it, because, you know, MooMoo's a god.
Jesus, Tohloo.
Ooh, Tohloo with the down slash and saving himself.
That poor beetle, he just wants to help in every single campaign, and we don't care.
He's too slow for us, man. We gotta save those frames.
Every single frame.
So, MooMoo is slightly ahead of Tohloo right now, but not by much. Any little mistake can result in either runner getting ahead.
So there's this cool thing that Judgment Rush has, where if there's not an enemy on the screen, you just kind of hang out in the air for a little bit, and you can use it to reset your wall climbs, which is what MooMoo just did.
Yeah, Spectre can't wall climb up infinitely. He'll actually fall if you try and wall climb for too long, for those who don't know. So having the Judgment Rush with no enemies nearby allows him to wall climb for significantly longer. And Tohloo going for a really interesting beetle skip too, opting to not use Judgment Rush, which I've never seen before.
Yeah, that's the way he always does it. This is Mole Knight. They're gonna be shooting balls at him and just kind of juggling him in the corner. Ooh, good fight.
MooMoo actually missed one of those Bounding Souls at first, but then he wound up hitting Mole Knight anyway.
It's actually an interesting fight because it's one of those fights where you have to go slow to go fast. Because if you do too much damage to him, then he'll start his digging cycle way too early, and you'll not be able to kill him.
So now both runners are going to go to Manny, or Legion, not Manny. And Tohloo having to buy get extra gold because he was a little short. But he got a bit more than he needs. So they're both going to be upgrading their basketball meatball Bounding Soul.
Now
But
they're
before
fighting
they can,
the anime master.
Yeah, before they can go to the real stage, they're fighting It's Just a Phase Mom, the boss. So that's Reese. We're gonna see more of him throughout the run, but Enchantress basically just turned him really edgy. And now he's mad and he's fighting both Moomoo and Tohloo, but they're not having any of that. They want to go to the next level.
Yeah, at this point, the level order doesn't actually matter because they have everything they need. So they're just going to be going from right to left now. Or left to right, sorry.
Yeah, they'll be buying some extra darkness, but outside of that, they don't really have to worry about money. The darkness upgrades are only 4,000 gold, and they're it's pretty easy to have enough money for them on this route. Because the completing the stages makes it gives you a bit of gold. So even if they collect little to no gold in a stage, just completing the stage will award them with at least 1,000 gold, and that's the minimum. So both runners using a lot of Judgment Rushes to skip through rooms here, and Moomoo coming up on 420 Fish, or the Tithalon. So tell us about 420 Fish, Eric.
Yeah, we call him 420 Fish because it's not as big of a deal in this campaign, but he tends to get too high to hit, and I occasionally get embarrassed that we call him that. But anyway, he's going to be shooting fish at these guys, and yeah, as you can see, the Bounding Souls are going to come out. Just going to try to get as many hits. Ooh, nice one cycle. We're going to see Tohloo try to do the exact same kill. Or not. Thank you, Tohloo. I love being a liar on stream.
He's just mad at you for referencing anime.
Gomen Nasai Tohloo-sama. Anyway.
Tohloo getting some spicy skips with the basketball.
Yeah, this is Bertha. She is probably the scariest enemy in the game. As far as I know, she's the only enemy in all of Shovel Knight that deals 2 full circles of damage.
Yeah, the closest thing to that is the spikes on the pots in Plague Knight stage deal 1.5 hearts. She can't be killed with any item that can be gotten in the any % route. It's the Dread Talon is required to kill her normally, or baiting her into getting hit by one of those anchors.
Ooh, so having a little bit of trouble with the missiles.
So now, here's Treasure Knight. Say bye to Treasure Knight. He's not going to be here very long.
Yeah, he's a bit of a joke.
So Moomoo melting Treasure Knight as expected. Tohloo's gonna do the same thing.
Yep. And finally getting a darkness upgrade.
Okay, so now Moomoo is in the Lich Yard, and Tohloo will be going to the same place. This stage awards the Skeletal Sentry upgrade, which both of these runners won't be getting, but it's the other main route that runners typically use. Moomoo getting some nice skips through those frogs with the basketballs. And Tohloo having a bit of trouble with the ladder. And he's doing the same exact skips on those frogs with the basketballs. Very impressive.
Yeah, there's a bunch of dark rooms in this stage, and they're pretty scary because you can't really see what you're doing. But they've played this game enough to know where everything is. And one of the big things in this stage is you can see they're actually manipulating which enemy they're using Judgment Rush on. If you aren't careful and you don't manipulate it right, you'll lock onto the wrong enemy.
Yeah, Judgment Rush only locks on to the enemy that Spectre is closest to, and it can only lock on to enemies that are somewhere where Specter can actually exist. So if an enemy's in a wall or something, he won't lock onto them. There's very few exceptions to this rule. In Polar Knight stage, there's an enemy on the ladder that can't be Judgment Rush because of a weirdness with the ladder that he's on. And then there's some frogs and horse that Judgment Rush is kind of broken for. But anyway, Moo getting an insane last room of Wishyard. Tohloo going for the a bit of a safer version here. But here's Phantom Striker. Tell us about Phantom Striker, Eric.
Yeah, he teleports and shoots lightning at you, and wow, Moo got the quick kill, and I don't have time to say anything.
He just bounced those basketballs so well, man.
Oh, and Tohloo got it a little bit slower. He basically bounced. Oh no!
That is highly unfortunate. Both runners were pretty much neck and neck before. Now Tohloo's going to have to be doing some catching up. So Moo in the second memory. Everyone type "Go Luan Go" in the chat.
He didn't quite go.
Oh, really?
Okay, Tohloo took good care of him that time. That's unfortunate. You always hate to see a really good kill after they die.
So for those who don't know what we're talking about when we're talking about Go Luan Go, you'll see it on Tohloo's screen. Luan, when he's in that first room of the second memory, has a chance to either run really fast or kind of stop, and it's literally only like a second at the most of time saved. But everyone likes to cheer Luan on, give him some encouragement. So
yeah.
Here's Shield Knight. She's trash.
Yeah, Shield Knight, when she has her shield out, you can only hit her from the back. And when she charges, she hits the blocks off the ceiling down towards you. Ooh, good kill. You've got those caltrops, and if she walks over them, you do damage to her. And bye, Luan. It was nice knowing you.
Insert Luan quick kill joke here.
He was a good place to put our daggers.
So Tohloo entering Shield Knight. He lost quite a bit of time to Phantom Striker. Jeez. Moo now going into Tinker Knight stage. This stage is really long. Someone at Yacht Club decided it'd be a good idea to put 2 auto-scrollers in here.
Yeah, and not only are there 2 auto-scrollers, all the checkpoints are super out of the way. So it actually wastes a bunch of time to get all but one of them.
Yeah, none of the checkpoints are really that optimal to get. Some of them require like 30 seconds plus of deviation from the normal speed route. So Tohloo now entering Tinker Knight stage. Like, whoa, he lost a lot of time to Phantom Striker.
Yeah.
And Moo entering the first auto-scroller. So we're going to be seeing some sick swag on Moo's end.
God, I hope not.
The swag is only good when you do not die during the swag. And I have not seen Moo die in the swag in a long time.
I saw her die to swag pretty recently. So please, Moo.
Shh. We don't talk about when Moo dies to the swag. We just talk about when he doesn't.
Oh.
He's crazy. So now Tohloo is in the first auto-scroller too.
Okay, so Moo made it through the auto-scroller in one piece. There's a couple of neat tricks that they're going to be doing here. There was that gear skip right there where you bump into a gear and it sends you a little bit higher than you're supposed to. Also, this gold armor right here, yeah, that was weird. Does that little jump, that way you can skip those platforms right there.
So now Moomoo's in the second auto-scroller, and Tohloo's still in the first one, because these auto-scrollers are way too long. So we're coming up on Tinker Knight's fight pretty soon on MooMoo's end. And Tinker Knight is a two-stage boss, two-phase boss in Specter of Torment. And his first phase... Gotta grind on those spikes, man. So his first stage is not a joke phase. In Shovel and Plague, there's both ways to make his fight go by pretty much instantly, and then his second stage is actually the threatening one. But that is not the case for Specter. Specter has to deal with two threatening phases.
Yeah, I think everyone who's played every campaign was absolutely shocked by how hard Tinker 1 was in this game. Oh, wow, Jesus Christ. So,
that is a beautiful kill.
Yeah, getting hit by the gear from Tinker Knight does a full circle of damage. So, he is super scary, even in his first form. And that one was gonna just be bouncing around and throwing basketballs at him. Insert Space Jam reference here.
Some really nice dunking going on MooMoo's end. And Tohloo coming up on the same fight. That one death to Phantom Striker might wind up costing Tohloo the match, assuming Moomoo doesn't mess up.
Please don't get hit anymore.
One of the reasons Tinker is really scary in Spectre is because of the gear does a full heart of damage, and it's a really big hitbox, so it's easy to run into it. And on only 4 health, it can be especially terrifying.
Yeah.
So Tohloo definitively behind at this point, but anything can happen at this point. Both of these runners are absolute madmen when it comes to how fast they go at this game.
Yeah, and MooMoo's in Pridemore Keep, and you can already see how the equipment that we pick up for the speedrun just makes a friggin' joke out of how the developers want you to play the stage. Like, there's a whole bunch of puzzles with, like, books and spikes, and we just don't care.
Yeah, we don't even have to worry about spikes because we can just hold down whenever we see any spikes. One of the only common spike-related deaths is Polar Knight stage, where you actually have to bonk into the wall at a certain point and then bonk into the spikes before Spectre actually dies to the spikes. Because most runners, if they see they're about to fall on spikes, they just hold down and then they're safe.
Yeah. Yeah, and right there you can see one of the uses that Gunning Soul has in the stages. Anytime you have like switches and whatnot, you can go ahead and hit them with the Gunning Soul from a distance. A little bit of a mix up there with the lanterns.
So this is King Knight, and King Knight is a bit harder in this campaign than in the other campaigns because of his RNG floor patterns that he can make. So there's some pits and stuff like that, and it significantly changes how King Knight acts in the fight, but MooMoo got a really fast kill anyway.
Tohloo tried to cancel the lag from the flip by slashing, but didn't finish climbing and just dropped right down into the pit.
That's a really unfortunate death. And now MooMoo's in the third memory, but it's just a cutscene, so he skips it. And now onto Polar Night stage as Tohloo goes through the books room.
Yeah, this is the first stage where you're supposed to see the railing mechanic, and the blue rails always send you right, and the red rails always send you left.
Yeah, Specter can rail on actual rails without the rail mail. And normally it's only in this stage and the last one. And then the hub world.
That was a fast King Knight fight.
Some really nice bounces there. Really nice one cycle on the big blue bird boss. So here's one of the places where runners sometimes die to spikes. If the runner bonks their head there on the wall and then bounces into the spikes, it can be dangerous. So here we're seeing Moomoo using the Bounding Souls to hit switches, which saves a significant amount of time.
Yeah, that's a lot of time you save by not going down there and hitting those switches.
Using a nice Judgment Rush stall to get off that rail before he had to use the switch.
Alright, this is the last set of rails, and then it's going to be fighting Polar Knight.
Tohloo is actually really behind right now. That's kind of sad. But again, is still very much anyone's game. Anything can happen at this high of a level of Spectre.
Polar Knight getting a little away from Moomoo there. But
Tohloo opting to like actually go and hit the switch with his scythe, which is kind of weird.
Well, somebody just use a door. Jesus Christ.
So, Black Knight's back. He's the worst.
Coming up on the Tower of Fate, since you can do the levels in any order in this game, the developers didn't really expect you to like transfer skills between stages. So this is the first time you're going to be putting all of your skills to use, and it's a very hard stage. Nice one cycle in the books.
There's a lot of runes in this stage that require pretty much perfection to get down right. Like that skip right there. That's one of the places where runners can die to spikes.
That's the first time I've seen Moomoo die to that strat. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to go.
Not too much time loss. Moomoo did get that checkpoint earlier. So now Tohloo defeating Polar Knight, and now he'll be on to Tower 1 as well. So all 8 Knights of the Order of No Quarter have been defeated, or 7 actually. Phantom Striker doesn't count.
Yeah, and he's actually not that far behind, despite all the deaths he's had. A bad Black Knight and a bad Enchantress like can easily turn it around for Tohloo.
Or a big smooch from our favorite fish.
Oh, God. Oh, okay.
That goo room, oh my god.
House.
So yeah, Tohloo is gonna be making up a bit of time because of that death Moomoo had. And yeah, Bertha is back.
Oh God! So, my heart doesn't exist anymore.
I can't believe Moo managed to save that. That was godlike.
This is my favorite auto-scroller in, like, any video game ever. Because, like, yeah, it's an auto-scroller, but there's so much to actually think about and do. Ooh, yikes.
Yeah, this auto-scroller is really well designed. Because you have to actually slash with the scrolling of the screen, so you don't really wait that much. And oh wow.
Tohloo. Oh no.
Oh.
So, MooMoo's coming up on Black Knight, who is, the best boss in the game.
Oh, he's my favorite.
Well designed. Very simple.
I should have won.
Yeah. So, he kind of flies up in the air, and he's really hard to hit, and, like, MooMoo's going for the aerial stun lock, and, man, what a good boss.
Moo has to go for a bit of a weird version of the aerial stun lock, because some of it got a little botched. But still a very, very nice, very fast Black Knight fight. Better than I could ever do.
Yeah. What Pete was saying was, he and I raced in the first round of the tournament, and he was an entire stage ahead of me, and then Black Knight happened.
He's a good boss. I like him. He's a good boy. Who doesn't love bosses that, you know, have a giant invincible turtle to block all the hits, invincible backdashes after every time you hit him 3 times.
Wait, hold up, I thought this was Specter Knight, not Into the Past Randomizer.
Oh yeah, look at those blocks too. Moo doesn't care. Moo's just chilling. And he gets the spike skip. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, it took 2 tries, but got that, block skip. If you don't destroy those blocks, you can go back into the previous room and jump off of them.
So, Moo is coming up on the Enchantress. She's a great boss, too. She's not as good as Black Knight, though.
How did that bonk happen?
I'm not entirely sure. That was just very strange bonk.
I'm hoping we get to see the swag endings of this fight. Nah, it's not gonna happen. If he
Both runners.
If she got one more hit, then she could use Judgment Rush to get down there, but not worth it when Enchantress has 4 circles left. Ooh. Ooh, nice. Nice finish. And I think
That was
Tohloo
very
got
impressive.
I think Tohloo got the full stun lock on Black Knight.
It appears he did, because now he is on to Tower 2.
So this is Nightmare Reese.
Yeah, Reese is back, edgier than ever.
Yeah, if you've played this game casually, this boss is super easy. If you speedrun it, he's not easy at all. All these rails, whether they go up or down or whether there's holes in them, is completely RNG. So, oh, dear God! Okay. This is fine.
Everything is fine. Moo on sub 40 pace here.
Oh yeah, yep. Nice, got the early finish. The lamp skip, I think it's called.
So yeah, that is time for Moo. Moo is the winner of this losers bracket match. So Tohloo is going to be executed on sight because he's out of the tournament now. but we're still gonna be seeing Swag Enchantress and Swag Reese.
Oh yes, Tohloo's absolutely going down there. Oh no! Oh yes! So in Shovel Knight, if you die and something kills the boss later, then you get revived and you get credit for beating the boss.
I think it should be a requirement that you die if you go onto the stage. You just have to kill the Enchantress. It should be a rule for any percent.
Yeah. So far, the rails are being a little bit nicer to Tohloo than they were.
And someone just joined.
Hi,
And
Moo
it is Moomoo. Hello, Moomoo.
Hello. Let's see how Tohloo does.
Congratulations on your win.
Dang, yeah, he is getting some kind of nice rails. He has a slightly different setup than I go for. Dang, he really did have a nice Nightmare Reese there.
Yeah.
So that's time for Tohloo. 4109, still a really, really good time.
So, Moomoo, you're going to be playing Patois in the Grand Finals.
Bring it on.
You have to win twice, 2 races, correct?
Yes. I have to, quote-unquote, knock him into losers and then finish him off in Grand Finals.
Yeah.
So, assuming you do win the first round, would that mean we would schedule a new race, or would you guys just go into the next part of the race?
I think having the time to do back-to-back races would be most likely. I wouldn't want to separate it like, you know, Grand Finals Part 1 and Part 2.
That sounds ideal. So, I've never seen you die to that rail on the Tower 1.
So, it's not that hard. I actually just didn't hold down when I was doing that. And it's like, in this game, it's so easy to accidentally not be holding down, you know, to grind.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what happened. When it happened, I gasped and I was like, wait, no one's going to hear me.
Moomoo, scream!
I didn't scream. I was just too busy being like, okay, this is fine. Get back together. Don't even, like, not go for this trick. It was just a silly mistake. Get back in there and do it again.
Mulan, gasp.
Yeah. Tohloo had a whole bunch of unfortunate deaths throughout the whole run.
I did have the restream open but muted, and I did see a little bit of that. He was with me for a long time, though, and I was just sloppy overall.
Yeah, he died to Phantom Striker.
Oh.
Yeah. Can't remember where else he died, but he also died like 4 times in Tower 1.
Yeah, Troy's gonna have a good time counting his deaths to the first pit of the Crusher room.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was not a good time. Oh yeah, he also died to Tinker 1.
Tinker 1 is terrifying, dude.
Yeah.
I guess I should save Troy a little trouble. I think that was my only death.
Yeah. It was just 1 death.
Ah, man, I was actually really upset about Enchantress as well. Like, she just completely dodged all of the rebounds, and I was like, what is this? You have half your health left. I'm not going down there.
It got super scary.
I love how basketball terminology is now terminology of speedrunning Specter Knight.
So, when, I guess to explain, like, the scarier half of the second part of that, if it weren't for the fact that I ran low percent so much, I would probably have lost another half a minute fighting her.
Alright, so I guess that's going to wrap up Losers Finals for this tournament.
Ah, man.
So stay tuned for... Well, don't stay tuned right now, because it's not happening now, but keep in touch for when Grand Finals happens. between
You can definitely
the,
stay.
Oh yeah, absolutely stay tuned to Speed Gaming. Everything Speed Gaming does is fantastic.
So on Speed Gaming 3, they have a Zelda randomizer, and at 11 o'clock on Speed Gaming 1 and 2, they have more randomizers, which are always very interesting. The randomizer that's going on right now is Zelda 1, and the ones at 11 o'clock will be A Link to the Past. Thank you, Fusel, once again for having us.
Thank you, Fiesel. You're great. I love you.
Yes, Fiesel is the best.
All right, so this is Eric DLC, and I'm gonna be signing out.
And I am Pika Pete, and I will also be signing out. So, great race from both runners. Tune into more speed gaming stuff, and be here for grand finals.
Thank you. Take care.